Good afternoon. Please join the tour to an ordinary Moscow school. It is located in Sokolniki, right behind the watchtower. Although our tour is not dedicated to the school or local history, it is a trip to the school museum, where I'll tell you my story. Let me speak on behalf of a common Russian soldier, tankman. I have never thought that my life will be closely linked to a small room on the fourth floor of a Moscow school. The fact is that the museum is named after the 5th Guards Tank Army, where I served. At first glance, it has everything. The banners of our brigades, the military uniforms of those years, photographs, weapons, and even a tank model. But all these exhibits are mute until the story is told. I will start from June 1941. On the 5th day of war, the enemy surrounded the 3rd Mechanized Corps and the headquarters of the 2nd Tank Division. More than 2 months, Colonel Pavel Alexeyevich Rotmistra and a group of officers and soldiers were coming out of the besiegement through the Lithuania, Belarus and the Bryansk region. The portrait of my commander is in the center of our museum. Above it, one can see the banners which were held proudly by the army, all the way through the victories, hardships and the heroism.
The troops of our army approached the Berzina River. It was decided to cross the river. From the right bank, the Germans had heavy artillery fire. Crews had to overcome the destroyed sections of roads, minefields. Enemy aircrafts bombed our troops.
But let me go back to my commander. Of course, his military career was closely connected with the 5th Guards Tank Army. After coming out of the besiegement, he was with us in Prokhorovka, Kharkov, River Rog, cold water of the Dnieper River, Osha and Riga, and led us to Gdansk. I am proud that my commander became Marshal of Armed Forces. You may ask me how we lived those days. Well, the museum of the 5th Guards Tank Army is also about that. Look at this old crumbled pot. Soviet soldiers ate shi and kasha with the army stew from the spot with the help of the aluminum spoon. After dinner, the elite of Mahorka sat down and wrote letters home to those who were waiting for them every minute. Sometimes in the camp they shared stories that inspired them to live and struggle. Here is one of them.
By the evening of the 6th August 1943, the 18th tank groups approached Krakow. We received the order to move deep behind the enemy lines to destroy the headquarters and forces of the enemy. We were moving for a long railway with the lights off and noticed a moving column of German trucks. We put the buckets on the barrels of our tanks to resemble the German Panthers, and then we started moving after the German column. In 13 kilometers, we noticed that the second German column was moving after us. Lieutenant Kovalyov asked for an order to start. "Go ahead," replied the commander. He fired up the Tiger, and it was the signal to attack for the rest of the crew. In a few minutes, the enemy column turned into a blazing fire. At dawn of the 7th of August, Soviet tanks stormed the city of Solovich, shooting carriages full of weapons and trucks with soldiers.
I sometimes recall the memories of that war reading old notes stored in this room. Diaries, letters, and many photos are kept here too. Some of the materials were gifted by the veterans who came to the meeting in 1985. Some were sent from the front line in 1943. The museum treasures also the research work of the school children. Unfortunately, I can't greet you personally, but the pupils from 1282 will be happy to conduct a tour around the school museum. You will be surrounded by the atmosphere of this place. Welcome to our museum.